it's being able to focus on passion projects. For me, throughout the years, I've always had people that referrals, team members that came and go or came and went, but people like I always kept in contact with, they're always hitting us up for information, input, and everything like that. And for me, how can I actually have an impact on helping people out? I look at the 5, 10, 15 people that I've worked with and gave input to over the years. And that's really fulfilling. If somebody asks you, about something and they put into action what you told them and they grow their business.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. Starting his journey at the age of 19 while navigating college and searching for his life's direction. Along the way, experienced both remarkable success and setbacks with failed ventures, scaling to $1 million months, losing it all and rebuilding from scratch. Over the last 10 years, he's had some incredible experiences here with a state Milwaukee native and one of my neighbors, Jake Setterlun. So excited to have you on. Thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Thank you so much. Besides for the cold, I'm doing all right.
It's really chilly, man. We're just trying to stay warm here up in the Midwestern states. But so excited to have you on and learn more about your journey. Take us through this 10-year lifespan of your business entrepreneurial journey, everything that you've accomplished. So excited to hear from it.
Absolutely. We can start from the beginning. I was in school at college at UWM, School for Engineering. And my goal was, if somebody asked me as a kid, what do you want to be? It was an inventor. I've always liked making different products. I've always liked, if we do this to this, that's an idea we could sell, or that's a product we could sell. So I was in school for engineering, and long story short, I wanted to get into prototyping and start a prototyping business. And I was at a family event and everybody's like, what do you want to do after you graduate? And I was like, I'm going to start a prototyping company. And my uncle is an engineer and he was like, oh, that's a great idea, but you should get some experience before you start that. And me being a cocky 19-year-old, I was like, screw that. I'm going to just start it. So I had taken some marketing courses in high school and I knew how to build a website. So I'm just going to start this thing. Mom helped me set up an LLC and I got into it about a couple months later and realized you can't just start a company and people just don't come to you. Or you can start a company, but people don't just flock to your door. So I learned marketing, and then marketing led me into being like, I could do this for other people. And now just full blown own a bunch of different marketing agencies. Been doing this for a while now. Lots of ups, a lot of downs, but it's been fun so far.
That is an incredible journey. When we were chatting before, talking about our experiences, both being from Milwaukee here, trying to find our path, our journey, just knowing the 9-to-5 lifestyle wasn't for us, wanted to create something different. Seems like us entrepreneurs are cut from a similar cloth, something going on with our brains. You took about a year off from your space just to kind of coast, but you still saw more opportunity and you jumped back in to start more businesses now.
Yeah. It was kind of a weird, obviously working your butt off in the beginning, and ended up burning through a couple partnerships, not in a bad way. It just didn't work out, and found a partner. We ended up creating about 5 different companies, all kind of under the same conglomerate. And we kind of got to the point where we were just out of the day and was coasting. And that was, again, a year, 2 years where it was just kind of like, I'm just living. And now the last year and a half, I've really been back into it and just feel like I'm 19 again. See opportunity everywhere. Oh, I could do that. I could do this. It's fun. And I'm super excited. I'm more motivated than ever. And it's super interesting having the same mindset I did back then, but now I have a different amount of resources and expertise that I can pull from to make things happen. So definitely a cool time, at least in my life currently, just with everything going on.
Absolutely. We were talking about that experience before, talking about motivation. Is the motivation different when you were 19 and just really hungry just to make a living or get by versus now you have an abundance, financially secure? Are the motivations different?
Yeah, it definitely is, because in the beginning, I started out doing my passion project was the prototyping. And then from there, I got into marketing for golf courses. That was the first partnership I had. And I was working with somebody from high school. And that was a passion project for me too, because I've been golfing since I was like 3 years old. I golfed in high school, golfed in college. So for me, this is going to work out. I really like doing this. I could do this for a long time, and it just didn't work out. So when I ended up partnering with the individual that I've, partnered with on all the businesses, we were doing marketing for real estate agents. And to be honest, I didn't know a thing about real estate, didn't care about it. So back then, my parents are getting mad. I'm back home, living in their basement. I need to make money. And for those 5 businesses that we've started, it was always, how do we make more money? How do we build a team? How do I have something that can last a long time? And absolutely now it's different because I have the expertise, and the way that I'm taking everything is I want to teach other individuals what I've done. But then I also look at it like I could build a portfolio of businesses that I own a percentage of and help them scale. Because for me, it's like I could charge somebody for that, but that's not fulfilling. So now it's, how could I do more JVs, partnerships, things like that? It's different having money. I don't need to go try to make a dollar. I can take a year trying to make something happen. And then once that happens, I'll have the benefit, the money, all that stuff from it will come at a later date. So it's definitely different. It's weird, but it's fun because you don't have to worry about that aspect.
Absolutely. The motivations may be different, and over the span of 10 years, the space absolutely evolves as well. What are the biggest changes you've seen over the last 10 years? This would be from 2015 on. Technology, digital marketing, AI is coming into play. What are you seeing the changes? What direction are you heading in now?
Absolutely. I love talking about this because it's something super interesting that we've been selling marketing for a long time, and we've had to change up what advertising platforms are we using, which ones are we giving our clients, which ones are we not giving our clients. And it started off with just Meta, Facebook ads. We added in Google. TikTok came along, so we added that in. And now it's really been all about back end and voice AI, conversational AI, AI appointment booking. So that's really been the biggest thing in the last year and a half that we've added in is, okay, we can get you leads, we can do the marketing, we can do all that fun stuff. But how do we turn those leads for you into booked appointments without having to place a setter into your business? So we've added in, we've given all our clients voice AI, texting AI, email AI, that's all conversational, helping them convert leads into appointments. Or if they no show, the AI is following up, calling them. So it's definitely cool to see. It's a little weird the first time you talk to voice AI, but that's really where the market's currently, at least from our point of view of what we're giving our clients.
Absolutely. Just the changes in technology and the shifting with that. It's just a new tool that allows us to do more with less. I love my AI tools. Everything you mentioned, from the AI chatbots to the voice to the SMS, the personalized messaging. Again, it's really just about better serving your clients. You can generate as many leads as you want, but the person at the end of the phone call isn't answering, or it takes them a while to follow up. All these things really factor into the lead's decision to move forward in their buyer's journey. If you add too much friction, suddenly they're not interested anymore and they're going to go to your competitor. So I like that you're staying ahead of the game with these new changes in technology. What was the biggest growth period for your marketing agency? What was working for you in your client acquisition? Was this heavily into SEO, paid ads, relationships, referrals? How were you building your book of business?
Absolutely. So we started off with a large marketing retainer offer. We were doing cold calling, we were doing a lot of cold outreach, DMing on LinkedIn, and that got us to about $40,000 a month in recurring revenue. We have about 20 clients, and we realized that, well, COVID hit, number one, so that didn't help. People didn't want to pay for that. And then number two, we realized like it's really hard to get somebody to commit to that much a month, especially we were in real estate. So these are individuals. These aren't businesses with a big marketing budget. So we ended up switching our offer to more of this done with you product where it's pay us once, we're going to set you up everything, and then we have a little bit of reoccurring on the back end for the system support, all that kind of stuff. And when we transitioned into that model, we realized we could really be using paid ads because we can put $1 into paid ads and we can get 5 back, even with the sales commission and everything like that. So that was 2020. We transitioned into that model. And since then, we've been almost like 100% paid ads as far as acquisition for the clients that we're bringing in. Now, that's obviously, you have Meta, you have TikTok, Google. We have a pretty large sphere of like where we're running ads. We're not all in on Facebook. That'd be kind of crazy. But we are all in on paid ads. And then once the lead comes in, we're nurturing with email, text message, that kind of stuff. But that really kind of took us to a point where we were able to scale because now it's, what's our bottleneck? Our bottleneck was salespeople, because I could just go into Facebook Ads Manager and it's like, okay, I want to double our leads. Instead of spending $500 a day, let's spend $1,000 a day. And I'm going to get double our leads. And obviously it's not that simple, but pretty much how it went. So we ended up scaling up, and this was like 2022, 2023-ish. Our biggest month was $1 million a month. And we had that a couple months in a row. Now, unfortunately, it didn't last too long. We had some issues with our back end and support and fulfillment. So kind of crashed down from there. We've rebuilt back up since then, but 100% all in on paid ads. We scaled up pretty high. We scaled back, scaled up again since then. But that's been the journey as far as starting with the cold and then really just transitioning all in with paid ads.
I really love to hear about that journey, that switch between the higher retainer model into something lowering the barrier to entry. And then the bottleneck became that service and fulfillment piece, which then you adjusted to. But it's a part of the journey, both the ups and the downs. You realize that you could put something down into a lower priced, more attractive model, scale into $1 million months. But unfortunately, that bottleneck came into play. But you're building it back. Now you're working on your personal brand as well. Tell me more about the shift into putting yourself out there with the one-on-one coaching and personal branding you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's being able to focus on passion projects. For me, throughout the years, I've always had people that referrals, team members that came and go or came and went, but people like I always kept in contact with, they're always hitting us up for information, input, and everything like that. And for me, how can I actually have an impact on helping people out? I look at the 5, 10, 15 people that I've worked with and gave input to over the years. And that's really fulfilling. If somebody asks you, about something and they put into action what you told them and they grow their business. So that's what led me into doing the personal brand stuff. I'm not going to lie, a lot of the push nowadays is having a personal brand that reinforces your businesses. So that's definitely going to be a plus. Is the businesses that we're currently in are going to benefit from me and my business partners having a personal brand. But obviously a big part of it is branching off from everything I'm involved in with those partners and everything like that, and having something that's kind of my own thing that I'm able to work on and take the way that I want to take it and make the decisions, not having to run it by 2 other people.
Absolutely. There's something to be said about having your own free creative license when it comes to putting marketing material, the branding, the copy, just the service and offering, how you handle and work with your clients as a whole. Yes, it's great when minds come together for certain projects, but we need something that kind of allows that creative outlet in other ways.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
So now after taking that break, you're back to it, pushing forward into 2025. Are you looking forward to something new and exciting that you're pushing out there? Are you doing a lot of the same that you have been? What's new coming down the pipeline for you?
Yeah, so a lot of cool stuff that we're working on with the businesses, still pushing forward. But again, a lot of that's on autopilot. So really the big things in the pipeline, big projects that I've been working on is the personal brand stuff. I've thankfully have a solid team around that helping me put out content, do the podcast, like all that kind of stuff. And then we are going to be launching a school community, super low barrier of entry. I don't want to be selling a crazy coaching program for $5,000 or anything like that. I'm just not that type of person. So we are putting a school community together for $50 a month, something like that. Not 100% sure on that yet. And I mentioned this before, my big pie in the sky is doing more JVs and having a portfolio, a Rolodex of businesses that I'm involved in on a partnership level and able to just guide them into growing the business, scaling to wherever they want to get to or wherever we feel the business can get to, but using the knowledge, using my resources that I have access to, the way we do things, implementing that into somebody maybe doing $10,000 a month and helping them scale to 100, 200, but more on a JV partnership level, not pay me $50,000 and I'll help you scale your business. It doesn't attract me. I think there's too many shams, fakers out there, and I just don't want to be associated with that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, you're providing a great value and you have a different price point and you just have a different perspective on how you want to present that offer to the market. Nothing wrong with that. I love it. I think there will be a lot of people interested in that offer as well.
100%. Thank you. More plain as it comes. I mean, that could change in 6 months. Maybe we realize, we need to do a free school group and just give more value and stuff like that too. So it could change as we go, but that's currently the plan right now.
I like it. That is very exciting. Where can people find and connect with you online?
Just jakesetterlun.com. I have all my social medias linked on there. Kind of everything that we're doing, that's going to be the home to everything. Everything I have going on with the partnerships and anything that we put out in the future is really just going to be on my website.
Excellent. We'll have those links available down in the show notes and the description for everybody to get connected. Now, things that have helped you throughout your entrepreneurial experience, are there any YouTube creators or podcasts or books that you would recommend to others that have been influential for you in your success?
Absolutely. That's a really good question because I've recently just fallen back into that whole education every morning, continuing to perfect my craft because, like I mentioned, I was just out of it and wasted years, ignorant to think that I didn't need to be learning, but really have gotten back into Alex Hormozy. He's somebody that I think for just general business information, really good to start there. To learn more marketing stuff, Jeremy Haynes. Back in the day, I was in his courses and have recently gotten back into some of his stuff. So he's been really good. And then more of like on a salesy thing, Grant Cardone is always good. Again, not in love with his personal brand and everything that he talks about, but I do think from a sales perspective in some of his books that he's definitely somebody to potentially look at too.
Nice. Those are some great recommendations. Definitely love Alex Hormozy's value equation model. Just love the way that breaks down into how people perceive the value that they get from an offer. And I agree with trying to distance ourselves with trying not to support certain personalities that are out there with fear of being like them because they may say something that's not like our style.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could go back in time and teach yourself one thing that may be inspiring for other entrepreneurs, what would you tell yourself?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing for me personally is I look at what I did and it's hard to say, do I regret the way that I did things? I did a lot of free work in the beginning, a lot of time waste. I hate to say it because is it wasted time or did that help me get to where I am? I think for me, it's definitely sticking to one thing and making it work because I switched up a lot. I had this partnership didn't work out. Let's go find another one. And obviously that led me to where I'm at, but could I have made it work with the one thing that I stuck on? And I'm happy that I stuck with marketing agencies because I could have gotten to affiliate marketing, drop shipping, all that kind of stuff. But I really think the biggest thing is like pick something and make it work, however you have to do so. Because I really do believe like if you want to do marketing for golf courses, you can make that work. What somebody else is doing might not work for that industry. It's fine. You need to get creative and try to figure it out. So yeah, pick something, stick with it, and just make it work. Even if you fail 5-10 times starting out.
Absolutely. It's a part of that learning experience behind every successful entrepreneur. You don't see the 9 failures behind them that were the stepping stones into what they built and created today. So that's just a part of the journey. It's a lot of fun though.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Excellent. Jake, just want to wrap up with offering you the floor. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on or talked about yet that you're excited to chat and share with our audience?
I mean, the only thing I'll just kind of leave it on is no matter what you want to do, if you're listening to this, if you're 18 years old starting out, if you're 35, 40, 50, if you stick with something and put time towards it and just keep believing in yourself, you can make it happen.
Very well said, Jake. We appreciate you coming on and sharing your tips and tricks and wisdom with us. So excited to watch the future growth for you. Congratulations to you. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.